Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Jesse's Card Empire. I'm back with another deck tech for you, and today we're breaking down another great Kaldheim legend, Tier Grid, already a very successful deck tech. So I wanted to build around another commander legend, but today we're going with an uncommon legend. Um, so if you clicked on this deck already, deck tech, you already know who it is. We're building Fynn the Fangbearer. Okay, I love this guy. I think he is so cool. Um, for 1 and a green, you get a 1/3 legendary creature, human warrior with Deathtouch, who also says whenever a creature you control with Deathtouch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. So there are some people trying to make this work in standard. I brewed around it a little bit. I couldn't get it quite competitive enough. I'm hoping we get enough cards in Strixhaven to actually make that a legitimate strategy, or we get, some additional poison support. I don't want infect in standard. That was too broken. But I would love to get some poison support. Um that being said, most people who want to build around this idea are probably building Golgari, and they're running Fynn in the 99. It's a way to pad out your creatures, because there's only so many that are actually good that have infect. So being able to play a bunch of creatures that also have Deathtouch, getting Fynn and then doing things with that is probably really good. I know he slots really well into Hapatra. So again, there's lots of different ways you can slot him in the 99. But today, he is leading the charge. So we are mono green infect. That's the game plan here. Um, so we're going to dive into it for some creatures. We have some very key creatures other than our commander. Again, I'm only going over parts of the deck list. The full deck list is linked in the description down below, as well as the TCG Player Store, my Twitter, and my other places. If you want to come check me out. The Twitch is still linked, but I'm not streaming right now. So, also there's a giant mess behind me. I just noticed that. I forgot I'm in the middle of redoing some things around my room. I got a little end stand over there, and I moved my dog's bed over there. So, we're doing that. Now that my ADD has had its tangent, and I've explained why there's a giant mess behind me, let's actually get into the deck tech. Creatures. Some very important creatures. Obviously, you want to run creatures that have Deathtouch, but also Deathtouch may not be the biggest, reason for them not to be able to get through. So one of the first creatures that I found and really loved for this deck, that doesn't have Deathtouch, but really helps your team get in there and close things out, is Bellowing Tangleworm. This is 3 and a green for a 4/4 creature that is a worm. It has Intimidate, and most importantly, other green creatures you control have Intimidate. So for those of you who maybe need a refresher on Intimidate, it means that this creature cannot be blocked except by artifact creatures and creatures that share a color with it. Now, granted, green is one of the most popular colors of Commander, so there's a good chance that that's not going to get you all the way there. But we have other ways to handle, when that can't get through. But this is going to be able to get in against, a large portion of other players, Esper, Grixis, those kind of players. And you're just going to be able to punch them in the face and make them sick with poison. And isn't that just great? Isn't that what you're trying to do here? So, another very, very important card is... Another important creature is Nylea, God of the Hunt. Not only is this going to be usually turned on, since you're playing a bunch of green pips, so you'll fill your devotion needs, so it will be a creature, and that's a 4-mana 6/6, which is nothing to scoff at. That is indestructible. Also, other creatures you control have Trample. You can also pay 3 and a green. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So, most importantly is the Trample there. This is going to let some of your bigger Deathtouch creatures, or maybe Deathtouch creatures that you put a pump spell on, get through for damage. So I absolutely love Nylea. I think it is very important to the deck. Next we have one of my favorite interactions in the deck, and that is Oran Frostfang. For 3 green green, you get a 2/6 snow creature snake. Now, we're not playing snow synergies in here. This just happens to be a snow creature. But attacking creatures you control have Deathtouch. Yeah, that seems really good in this deck. Also, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So now, all your attacking creatures have Deathtouch. You get in for tons of infect and poison damage. Plus, you're going to get massive card draw here. Another card draw card that we have that I'm a huge fan of is Beast Whisperer. So anytime we're casting our creatures, which we're playing 37 of them in the deck, we're going to be drawing a card as well. Other bombs in the deck are cards like Hornet Queen that make a bunch of 1/1 flying Death Touchers when they come into play. That gives you 4, plus the Queen itself. That right there can one-shot a person if they have no way to block your flyers. What else do we have? Also, he doesn't have infect, but again, a very important card to the strategy, in my opinion, is Vorinclex Monstrous Raider. So this is going to be also, a lot of you should know this card. It's tearing up standard right now, but if you don't, he's a 6 mana 6/6 with trample and haste. And when you would put counters on anything, you put double those counters. When any of your opponents would put counters on anything, they get half of those counters. You can see why this is really good in here. Poison is poison counters. So this means that essentially if you have him out, you only need to get 5 poison counters on someone and they will get 10. Seems really, really, really busted in this deck. Probably going to make you a very quick target. Another important card is the Bow of Nylea. So we're already playing Nylea in here. We might as well play our bow. But most importantly, all creatures you control have Deathtouch. Again. And so that, plus the Frostfang that I mentioned before, do this really cool thing where all of your creatures that are playing in here that are in the deck list that actually have infect now also are going to do the additional infect damage. So you'll be getting those poison counters as well as, you know, proliferating them and getting extras from having Vorinclex out. So lots of different ways that that's going to snowball quickly for your opponents. Now, sometimes your opponents can wall up. They might pillow fort and you have to pay a bunch of mana to attack them. Or just whatever happens in the game that doesn't allow you to get in normally. We are running a nice small little proliferate package in here to help with that. So the first part of our proliferate package that we're running to help close out games in the event that we can't, you know, specifically get in there with attacks anymore. We have things like Karn's Bastion to proliferate the counters, as well as Contagion Clasp and Contagion Engine, both proliferating a ton. Also, the Contagion Clasp and Engine bring neg1 counters in, so you're going to be able to put those on your opponent's creatures that you want to have them. We have Evolution Sage is a fantastic card there. Whenever you play a land, you're going to get to proliferate. It's also a respectable body of 3 mana for, I think it's a 3/2. Is really very good. And then finally, I'm never a big fan of equipment, but my god, this equipment is so gas in here. And that is Sword of Truth and Justice. It's one of the Modern Horizons additions to the Sword Cycle. So it's not as powerful as the originals, but in this particular deck, it does do a lot. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and protection from white and blue. And then on top of that, whenever it deals damage to a player, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature, and then you get to proliferate again. So that's going to be really, really good. There is plenty of draw power, mana ramp, fixing in the deck. I'm not going to go over any of it because it's pretty basic at this point. And if you want to see what I did, you're free to check out the link in the description below. The last thing we are going to touch, though, on is protection. Always have protection. So there's a couple spells that we're playing just to make sure that you can blank out when your opponent tries to remove a key piece. Also, Fynn himself turning all your Deathtouchers into poison. This strategy really comes apart if they can eliminate him. So making sure that he is hard to deal with is very important. Also, alternatively, I guess another way you could approach it is just to jam so much ramp in here that every time they kill him, you can just afford to recast him. Since he is such a cheap commander, and the commander tax doesn't get out of hand for a couple of lives for him. But things like Blossoming Defense are really good because you can also protect an infect creature. And then also that's going to let you get in for more infect damage. Heroic Intervention is really, really good. And Vines of Vastwood is a personal favorite of mine. The rest of the deck, feel free to check it out. There's, you know, artifact and enchantment removal, creature removal is pretty light, but most of our stuff has Deathtouch, so I wasn't too worried about, you know, putting in a ton of creature removal. Also, we are in mono green, so what we can do wrath-wise is very limited. But most of our creatures having Deathtouch is going to get us to where we need to go. The deck itself, I'm pretty confident in the build. I'm looking at, because I have it pulled up on Tapped Out right now, current as of recording price on TCG Player is right a little over $400 for this deck. Again, if you have a lot of this stuff already, it helps cut it down. And some of the big things that are, you know, driving up the price is going to be, you know, like Vorinclex Monstrous Raider, great Henge is in here. Those are really going to probably adding a good chunk of the price by themselves. So feel free to check out the link. Thanks for checking out the video. Watch another one. It'll queue up here in a second. It'll be on screen. You can check that out. Other deck techs are available. And like I said, guys, I'm going to be trying to get deck tech out a week since I'm not streaming anymore. Well, I'm taking a hiatus from it. So, and then I'm also going to try to get variety content up weekly as well. It's probably just going to be different arena gameplays and stuff. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.